There are stars in the NBA, then there are legends, and towering above them all is Larry Bird. He didn't need gravity-defying dunks or viral highlight reels. Larry Bird dominated in a different way, with unmatched court IQ, ice-cold composure, and a mind that treated basketball like a high-stakes chess match. No theatrics, no gimmicks, just pure skill and the unshakable belief that he was going to outplay you and then actually doing it. Bird made the impossible look routine, step-back daggers to win games. No-look assists threaded through traffic, and trash talk so sharp. It hit before the ball even left his hands and still found the bottom of the net. His game wasn't built on flash. It was built on results. And those results earned him something far greater than applause. Respect from the greats themselves. Ask Magic Johnson, ask Michael Jordan, ask Kobe Bryant, or Gary Payton. The moment you mention Larry Bird, the jokes stop. What follows is genuine admiration, because they all learned often the hard way what Larry Legend was truly made of. This isn't nostalgia. It's testimony from Hall of Famers who went toe-to-toe with a man who was smarter, tougher, and far more dangerous than anyone ever expected. Long before the championship banners, before the MVP trophies, before he became the embodiment of Celtic pride, Larry Bird made his presence known. Magic Johnson remembers the first time he saw him, a college game. No flash, no flair, just cold efficiency. Bird shredded the nation's top player like it was a practice drill. And Magic, already a superstar in the making, knew right then, this guy was different. He wasn't just a player. He was a problem, one the entire basketball world would soon have to reckon with.
That boy, he can play, man. I saw this dude eat Jack Givens up. He was player of the year that year.
Kentucky, right?
Yeah, from Kentucky. And Larry Bird was just slicing and dicing him. And I said, oh. Yeah. And so that was my first time seeing him. And then to be out on the court with him in college for that national championship game. And then, of course, what happened in the NBA. But I would say that we got a chance to change the league.
They didn't just enter the NBA. They changed it when Larry Bird and Magic Johnson hit the league. The NBA was in trouble. Half-empty arenas, finals games that aired after midnight. Ratings were in the basement, and the spotlight was fading. Then came Boston. Then came LA. Then came Bird and Magic. From the second they put on their jerseys, everything shifted. Their rivalry wasn't just thrilling, it was transformative. To titans, to legendary teams, to totally opposite styles, colliding again and again with everything on the line. But this wasn't just a personal duel. This was two competitors pushing each other to the edge and dragging the entire NBA into a brighter, bolder future. Magic made Bird better. Bird made Magic greater. And together, they lit the spark that turned the NBA into a worldwide phenomenon. So, when Magic Johnson reflects on Larry Bird today, there's no trash talk, no bravado, just pure respect. Because deep down, Magic knows, without Bird, there might not be a Magic as we know him. And without both of them, the NBA never becomes the global empire it is now. And if that doesn't convince you, let Gary Payton speak. This is a guy who built his legacy on toughness. A Hall of Famer known for shutting down superstars and never backing off. Not even an inch dot. So when he brings up Larry Bird on his own, and says his name belongs in the GOAT conversation, that's not just admiration, that's a reminder. Bird wasn't just clutch, he was ruthless. And if you forgot how cold he could be, Peyton's here to warn you. Don't sleep on Larry Legend.
Let me tell you something. People always talk about great basketball players, and they don't never mention him to be up in that round when they made the Magics, the Jordans, the Kobes and stuff like that. But Larry Bird was cold. I don't think nobody ever could get out with him. You ask Magic. That's why Magic had a run, and he was mad when he had to retire in '92 because of what he was going to be missing with Larry Bird.
Gary Payton doesn't sugarcoat the truth, and when it comes to Larry Bird, he's got a bone to pick. In today's highlight-driven world, too many people forget just how dangerous Bird really was. No gravity-defying dunks, no freakish speed. And maybe that's why newer fans don't put his name in their top 5. But ask the ones who actually shared the court with him. They'll tell you flat out, Larry Bird was lethal. He didn't just score, he talked you through the whole thing. He'd call his shot, drop it in your face, then dare you to stop the next one. All while barely breaking a sweat to Gary Payton. That's real greatness. Not just numbers or rings, but the kind of respect and fear that only a few players in history have ever truly commanded. And he's right when we mention the names Magic, Jordan, and Kobe. Larry Bird isn't just worthy of that conversation. He helped shape it. Some guys fill up stat sheets, others live for the big moment. But Bird, he took over entire eras. Just ask ML Carr. He watched it unfold up close. From Larry's humble beginnings as a hard-nosed kid out of Indiana State to the moment he became the heartbeat of the Boston Celtics, to Carr. Bird's greatness wasn't just measured in points or wins. It was written in sweat, grit, and the culture he created. Larry didn't lead with his voice. He led with his effort. Every practice, every play. He raised the bar so high that everyone around him either leveled up or got left behind. That's not just leadership. That's legacy.
Larry was the ultimate leader, and we all know that. But it meant a lot because you were fighting against the Lakers, and Larry and Magic had come out, really become saviors of the NBA. It was unmarketable, and they began to turn that around, and Larry was driven. He was absolutely driven, and he wanted to make sure that every player on the team was involved in the process. Larry could have scored 40 points a game. I'm convinced of that. If he wanted to average 40 points, Larry Bird is one guy could have done it.
ML Carr doesn't mince words. Larry Bird could have been a selfish superstar if he wanted to. He had the skills, the touch, the vision, the footwork, and most importantly, a green light every night. He could have chased the spotlight, but he did instead. Bird chose winning over ego, team over stats. And the crazy part, even with that mindset, he still averaged 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists, often while pushing through injuries that would sideline most players. At one point, he was putting up those numbers with a broken back, no complaints, no shortcuts, no fear. Larry Bird didn't demand respect, he earned it. The hard way, game after game, year after year. He wasn't just leading the Celtics, he was helping resurrect the NBA. And if that doesn't tell the whole story, listen to John Salley. This is a guy who built his career on defense. Long, smart, physical. He guarded everyone, from Michael Jordan to Charles Barkley to Shaq. He's seen it all. And he's survived the bruising. No-nonsense wars of the 80s and 90s Eastern Conference. So when he says a player gave him nightmares, you pay attention. When someone asked him to choose Larry Bird in his prime or LeBron James in his prime, you expect a pause, maybe a little hesitation. Not from Salley. He didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He said Larry Bird. No hesitation. No debate. Because when legends talk about legends, they don't speak lightly.
I'm going to give you Larry Bird in his prime or LeBron in his prime.
Larry Bird.
That's a quick answer.
Do you remember? I know I have nightmares. Do you? Do you have nightmares?
Night sounds wild, but it's the truth. Larry Bird didn't just beat defenders. He haunted them. He wasn't built for flash. He didn't rely on speed. What he had was far more dangerous. Precision. Every jab step. Intentional. Every pump fake. A trap. Every pass and shot. Calculated by a mind that saw the game before it happened. And the craziest part, he'd sometimes tell you exactly what he was about to do, then do it anyway, right in your face. That's not just skill. That's mental warfare. John Salley knows he wasn't a bystander. He was on the court, battling Bird in the heat of the moment. The fact that Larry still lives rent-free in his memory, decades later, that tells you everything. Larry Bird wasn't just a matchup, he was an experience, a test, and most players failed. And for those who played with him, it wasn't a casual ride. It was an initiation. Just ask Danny Ainge. Ainge was no slouch, a pure shooter, fierce competitor, and one of Boston's toughest guards. But when he joined the Celtics, he quickly learned something. Talent wasn't enough. Not in Larry's world. You had to bring it every night. Locked in, disciplined, ready to deliver. Because Bird didn't tolerate excuses, and he didn't babysit. Egos he didn't need to shout. He didn't need drama. Larry Bird held everyone accountable with his presence, his preparation, and the simple fact that he never let up, so no one else could either.
I got to know Larry really well, but he was a great worker, a great teammate. He told me, like when he didn't think I was taking a good shot. I tell people all the time when they start complaining, oh, the coach doesn't believe in me, or the star player on our team doesn't believe in me. I go, bro, when I played with Bird, he'd pass it, he'd get double teamed, he'd throw me the ball, But if I miss 3, I'm not coming back to me.
Ethers, a quiet power in the way Larry Bird led. No fluff, no filters, just the truth. With Bird, it was never personal. It was all about performance. If you could deliver, he'd find you. If you couldn't, he'd move on, not out of spite, but because Larry wasn't there to coddle. He was there to win. Danny Ainge saw it firsthand. Bird didn't lead with speeches or highlight reels. He led with standards, high ones, and if you wanted to keep up, you had to rise fast. If not, the ball stopped coming your way. That's the kind of leader Bird was. Not just a superstar who filled the stat sheet, but a force who shaped the entire team's mentality. He didn't just want points, he wanted commitment. And that's why teammates like Ainge didn't just admire him, they were afraid to let him down. Because with Bird, every pass, every possession, every moment mattered. And when it came to rivalries, forget the flashy showdowns. Larry's game was rooted in grit, intelligence, and pure psychological warfare. Just ask Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight film. One of the most explosive scorers in NBA history. Skywalking dunks, razor footwork. A mid-range killer who could drop 40 without breaking stride. But even Dominique, as fearless as they come, couldn't rattle Larry Bird. Because Bird didn't just come for your body, he came for your mind. They battled in some of the most epic matchups of the 80s. And here's the wild part. Everyone knew what was coming. Larry would tell you the shot he was about to take, tell you exactly how he was going to hit it. Then, do it without hesitation, without wasted motion. Cold, calculated, unstoppable. And the worst part, you could know the play and still be powerless to stop it.